Hey, how's it going, guys? So we're here at San Jose Regionals. I have with me,
Salonga.
and he just ended up getting top cut. What place did you get?
I placed 25th.
25th. Also, one of our SoCal representatives, one of the few people that made top cut from SoCal. And what were you piloting?
Today I was playing, or the weekend I was playing Zoroark, Lycanrock.
Zoroark, Lycanrock. And how did you like that?
It's a bit slow. Like, if you don't get the turn 1 attachment, you kind of screwed the whole game. But besides that, it ran pretty well. I think it was a pretty good call.
Cool, perfect. All right, so let's get into that deck profile and see exactly what you were running. All right, so let's start with the Pokemon lineup.
Yep, so the core was 4 Zoras, Shining Legends, and 3 Zoroarks, Shining Legends as well. And 1 Mindjack Zoroark. And this is basically your core. Trade is just like an overpowered ability. And the stand-in Mindjack Zoroark was a 1 prizer attacker. It's good in the mirror too. You just come in and you take 2 prizes for a 1 prize attacker.
Nice.
And then besides that, the support was the 2 Rockruffs and the 2 Lycanrocks with Bloodthirsty Eyes. This came in like clutch in almost all my matches. The GX move is just way too overpowered, and like doing 50 for every Pokemon down is just insane damage. You basically kill anything running in expanded. So usually turn 1 you want to like put an energy on the Rockruff, but like I think people understood how to play around it, and like people were easily killing the Rockruff turn 1, and if you went turn 2 you were like very behind if this like
Of
occurred.
energy attachments. Yeah.
Okay, and besides that, we run 3 Lele and 2 Shamans, just our support.
Your draw support of the engine.
And it's pretty good to run Shaman since you are like running through your deck, since this deck does play Skyfield. It's just easily going through all your cards. And besides those, I run a 1-1 line of Alolan Muck. The reasoning behind this is to counter Sudowoodo, is also to counter your Night March matchup, to deny Marshadow, since he does one-shot your Zoroark GX. And in Night March, if you have the Alolan Muck set up, you're almost guaranteed to win if they don't deal with it immediately.
So some other players are using the other version of the Alolan Grimer and using multiple copies of the Alolan Grimer, and if their Muck got knocked out, they'll pick it up with a Rescue Stretcher. Was that a consideration, or did you feel that this was the better call?
Yeah, so since I don't play 2 copies of the Alolan Grimer, I just went with this one since I could use the attack if I was ever stuck for some reason. Roll heads, you poisoned active. But some people do play 2 copies, but I think like towards the top cut, the top players, they were only running 1 copy because their lists were just so tight that they just couldn't find the space for 2. Okay. But I did see the other version of the Alolan Grimer, even though it was the single copy index. I think people just put it in just to put it in. Like, they didn't really care for it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And besides those, I run 1 Sudowoodo and 1 Oricorio. Sudowoodo is pretty good in almost a lot of matchups. It's good in the mirror, and people don't benefit off of your own Skyfield, so it's good just to deny them. And the Oricorio is pretty good in a lot of matchups, like not just Night March. It sets up a lot of like 2 shots for your Pokemon later on if you can't hit those numbers.
Cool.
Yeah. Supporters?
So the supporter lineup?
So for supporters, I ran 1 Colress, 1 Teammates, 1 Hex, 1 Guzma, and 1 N.
Okay.
These are just the 1-ofs. I think all of these were all super helpful throughout the weekend. Guzma is just a backup if you can't do Bloodthirsty Eyes. A lot of times you don't have access to it, or like a lot of times you just Guzma in the turn to switch out your Pokemon. N is always great to deny. Since you are running Skyfield, Chorus, you just draw so many cards. Hex is just a great denial. Almost every deck should run Hex. And Teammates is just great just to recover. Like if a Pokemon was to get knocked out, like the Mindjack Zoroark, you just Teammates right after, and then you could just
you can go off.
Yeah, you can go off from there. And besides those, I ran 2 Bridgets, and 3 Sycamores. The reason behind running 2 bridges is just because you want to have multiple Zoras turn 1 so that you could play multiple Zoroark GXs and start trading from turn 2. That way you could start digging through your deck as fast as possible. Okay. And Sycamore is just Sycamore. It's just
for the consistency of the draw. Yeah.
Okay. And for some items, I played 4 Versus Seeker. It's pretty standard and expanded. Almost every deck's running 4 Versus Seeker. I played 4 Puzzle, and the puzzles are pretty good in this deck. If you're ever stuck, you could use 1 puzzle just to see what you're gonna trade into, and if you don't like what you see, then you'll randomize your deck through an Ultra Ball or computer search
or something.
Yeah. And then just recovering your items and your Pokemon is pretty important with this. I don't run a special charge, so running the puzzles was what was bringing back my DCs. Yeah, my DCs. And I run 1 Target Whistle. I would also combine it. I use Target Whistle a lot over the weekend, mainly as like the finisher to bring back like a Shaman or anything like very fragile from the discard pile and just continue to knock that out. Because some Pokemon like Gardevoir GX can't do the 230 and it has resistance, so it's actually 250 with the Zoroark GX. So your best option is just to kill Lele over and over and just stream those kills. And I run 1 Field Blower. Just I didn't run into any Garb, so I don't know if the 1 Field Blower would have been punishing if I was under Garbotoxin. But for the weekend it worked pretty well, just 1 Field Blower. I just pulled it out when I needed it. And 4 Ultra Ball just for consistency. And then 1 Computer Search.
Okay.
Computer Search, pretty standard for expanded decks. It was my choice. I did test the dowsing machine, but like I felt like I was very comfortable with like searching through my deck, and Computer Search just adds the extra consistency in finding what you need.
Yeah.
Dowsing machine's pretty good though, because if you do lose a puzzle, you can recover them later on in the game.
But the Computer Search is a better call because you can grab almost anything. The dowsing machine only gets you trainers.
Yeah, trainers from like the discard or so. Yeah. I found that I was using Computer Search a lot to find like DCE, since you're only running a 4 of in a 60 count deck. Sometimes you can't find that 1 card out of 60. Okay. And for tools, I was running just 2 Floatstones and 2 Choice Bands. I thought this was pretty small lineup, but it's not that bad. You only put on the Choice Band when you need to knock out a 10 HP Pokemon, and you don't really leave your Floatstones out. You only put them when you need to retreat that turn. So as long as you don't like have to discard them early on, basically these should net you 2 knockouts, and this should just get you stuck out of the active like once in the game once you are stuck.
So when they try to Lysander Guzma stuck you have the Floatstones in hand ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. Like you shouldn't really be playing down your items right away, but you should just try and conserve them since you are running such a thin line. But you could recover them with the puzzles too if you need to.
Cool.
And besides that, I'm only running 3 Skyfields. Reason being is because you should only set up your bench when you are taking a knockout. So 3 should be to knock out like an EX or GX. To do 210 is your max damage. So each one should technically net you a knockout. So you don't need the 4th copy. The 4th copy would just be for consistency. But I didn't really find myself like trying to find Skyfield throughout my weekend.
Okay.
And for the energy count, I ran 2 Fighting and 1 Strong. Strong is pretty good for your Lycanrock since it only does 110, so I'll net it to 130. And you could kill Shamans with just your regular Claw Slash, since Shaman does have resistance. So you could just kind of like stream Shamans with, if you were to have 2 Lycanrock set up, you could just kill them over and over with Target Whistle. And I ran 4 DCs. This is basically your main attacking
energy.
Yeah. So for your Zoroark GXs only require 1 DC to do Righteous Beating.
And the reason you ran the basic energies was for the Oricorio and for the retreat cost of the Shaman and the Lele, correct?
Yeah. Also, I didn't really want to run too many special energies because E-Hammer is very popular, and like a special energy denial is very popular and expanded. So I needed for sure something that would stick. Like if your turn 1 has a Rockruff and 1 regular fighting energy, then that's pretty good turn 1 for you.
Cool, perfect. Alright guys, so that was the deck profile right there. Alright guys, so that was the Zoroark Lycanrock list right there. What were your thoughts going into an expanded tournament with Zoroark Lycanrock?
I was more scared of Gallisopod Zoroark. I thought that'd be bigger, but it didn't really show up, at least in my rounds for me. So, and I did play one in Top Cut, and we ended up tying. That was because of my misplay in game 1. I probably could have took it if I just didn't play like scared. But this deck could get around to the Widow, which is why it's pretty good, and it doesn't really have too many bad matchups, so it's pretty good.
Cool. What was your hardest matchup of day 1?
Day 1 was Guardy. For Guardy, you kind of have to you have to get that one energy, and you have to knock them out. And even if you knock out one Guardy, you're still gonna be knocked out by Gallades. So if they're running a 2 lineup of Gallade, it's pretty hard to get around it.
Okay. So after day 1, you kind of adapted to the meta because you started as you were going up in the tables, you started seeing more and more of the same type of deck around you. What were your thoughts going into day 2? What were some of your playstyle changes that you had to do, or some of the more techie stuff that you did for day 2?
Yeah, so when I've been testing, I didn't really realize the importance of the Lycanrock too much. But then as I was gaining momentum throughout the day, I was looking around and I saw that everything was weak to, well, it was already known that everything was going to be weak to fighting, but there wasn't too much threat to the Lycanrock. So as long as you could get off your Lycanrock and maybe play through the Widow just to solve them, then you could probably win the game with just Lycanrock.
Cool, perfect. Alright guys, sorry about that. So what was your hardest matchup of day 2?
No, I didn't really have a hard matchup, but it was just that I felt like I was playing well, but my deck wasn't really responding to me too well on day 2. It was just unlucky. So it kind of sucks. I would rather get smashed than be unlucky, you know. But it's fine. I made day 2. I got points and I got money.
That's always good. So now that you're done with San Jose, what's the next big tournament that we'll see you at?
Costa Mesa, if Nationals is not before Costa Mesa for sure. So Costa Mesa is in March, I believe.
Cool, perfect. And from what I believe, Costa Mesa is standard?
No, it's expanded, I think.
Oh, is it expanded? So what are your thoughts for expanded? Will you be piloting this, or are you going to switch it up?
I think the meta will probably shift again, because we have the new Soul Galeo incoming.
Oh yeah.
So maybe not Metal Box, but the Metal Links, I believe. Maybe that might be good, but we'll see.
Cool, perfect. With that said, man, thank you so much for being on the channel. It's always a pleasure to have you on here, and I'm glad that you came out to San Jose and you were able to get a top placing and representing for the SoCal area. Guys, with that said, I'm gonna cut the video here. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to share the video if anybody wants to know what got 25th place at San Jose. Like always, guys, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.